So welcome back, guys, to We Talk Boxing, and today I'm going to be talking about Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, and what should these both fighters do next in their career. So we've all seen the videos currently, and we've all seen the fight itself, and there's a lot of controversy which has happened since the fight. So I just want to pretty much be talking about that really, and just giving my opinion. But in terms of the fight, I thought it was a very good competitive fight, more competitive than I actually thought. I thought Ryan Garcia obviously put on a masterclass for a lot of us boxing fans, and obviously a lot of props will go to him if all this the controversy around the fight turns out to be not true, and I'll talk about that in a second. But in terms of his performance, Ryan Garcia, thought he was the most dominant boxer from round one. It was very evident. There was no need, from my point of view, for Devin Haney to try and mix it with Ryan Garcia. But I felt as if he wanted to try and make a point, wanted to kind of show Ryan Garcia who he is, what he can do, and stay and stand toe to toe with him. But it was the wrong move because everyone who knows Ryan Garcia's best shot is that left hook, and for some strange reason, Devin Haney just couldn't evade that shot, and that was the shot which was the key to the whole fight. Whereas prior to that, in my pre-fight video, I thought it was mainly going to be Devin Haney's jab and his boxing ability to stay away and just outbox Ryan Garcia, but it wasn't to be. Obviously, these guys know each other in and out. They fought 6 times prior to this fight. And they would have potentially have done countless rounds of sparring as well as professionals maybe. So they knew each other, but yeah, it was just quite sad to see how Devin Haney capitulated on the biggest night of his career and allowed Ryan Garcia to embarrass him in a weird way. Because he couldn't do that against Gervonta Davis. And yes, I know styles makes fights, but still, boxing ability, just me personally, and most of the boxing experts thought that it was going to be kind of like a straightforward performance and victory for Devin, but it just wasn't to be. But anyhow, let's get on with the controversy. Now, in terms of the weigh-in, let's start with that. Obviously, Ryan Garcia was, 3.5 pounds, give or take, over his weight. So he was naturally heavier during this lot on the scales, and obviously he paid the price for that. I think it was 500,000 he paid per pound or something like that. So he had to forfeit that money, but obviously naturally he was bigger anyway on weighing day. Now, everyone who knows boxing knows boxers don't weigh in the exact weight that they weighed in and fight on fight night. So obviously these guys put on a lot more water weight, and they do enter the ring a lot heavier. Now, we won't know exactly what weight Ryan Garcia entered the ring being, and maybe the same with Devin Haney, sorry. But there was a big size difference on the night, and that was quite evident to see. Ryan Garcia looked like the much bigger fighter. He looked as if he was just going to put a random number around 150, quite comfortable at least. Whereas Haney I'd probably say 145, 147 maybe, give or take. Or probably even bigger Garcia, I don't really know. But he just looked like he looked like he filled out a lot. Okay, and that's obviously going to have an impact as well in terms of his punch power. As I said, the fight itself, no issues. Obviously, Haney got clipped early and then got put down numerous of times in the latter part of the fight. And obviously, Ryan Garcia won on points. And if that was that, we wouldn't be making this video now. And people will be talking about Garcia fighting him and him and him, which there was straight after the fight. But as soon as the allegations came into play in terms of him maybe potentially testing positive for 2 banned substances from 2 tests, it kind of put a downer on his performance. But since then, he's had one of the tests come back as being negative, which is a positive for Ryan Garcia, because no one really likes to see a boxer have a positive test, and for them to put on such a masterclass performance, for it to just be basically for it to go down as a no contest. Now, currently as it stands, it's not a no contest. It's still on both of their records. Devin Haney, for some strange reason, I don't know why, he's obviously suspended indefinitely from the New York boxing, whatever it is. Whereas Ryan Garcia is still active, according to BoxRec. This is now obviously he has to clear his name. He's still got that other test, which they're going to be testing the B sample on the 22nd of May. So hopefully that comes back negative, okay? And then we could put this saga to bed, and that, he won't go down as a drugs cheat. But for some boxing fans, there'll always be that seed of doubt. And what I mean in that seed of doubt, they'll always be saying to themselves, you know what, you probably paid off the proper officials, or I don't know. Some boxing fans would just probably see it as he did test positive and he is a drugs cheat. But if both tests come back negative, then he isn't. Then obviously he's a clean fighter, and he could hopefully go on with his career and have the bigger fights. And in terms of him having the bigger fights, there's some brilliant fighters in that division for him to potentially go up against. And the nice easy one for most boxing fans is the Teofimo fight. And I think that's just a fight which is made for both of these guys, and it would be for the title. I know probably at this stage in his career, Ryan Garcia probably doesn't really care about titles, but it would be for the title, because Teo is the WBO champion currently as it stands, and obviously he did fight Haney, and that was for the title, but he weighed in heavier, so which means that he couldn't have won the title, and Haney somehow, I don't know how, retained his belt, which is a bit weird. But there's other fighters in that division as well. You got Pitbull Cruz, which he is a pitbull, says it in his name. You got Matias as well, who a lot of people are considering him to be a good prospect as well, so that's a good fight. You got Richardson Hitchins, who's in that division, and Jack Catterall, Prograis as well. You got Josh Taylor, he's floating around between that and 147, so he would be around there. There's potentially for maybe a Gervonta Davis maybe pushing up into that weight category as well. So yeah, there's some good fights there for Ryan Garcia, but I feel as if he does come out of this unscathed in terms of his reputation, and he's allowed to box, everything's negative and it's all clear, etc., then yeah, go after that TO fight. Maybe move up if you want, and then go into the 147 division, because again that'll probably be more of his natural weight, because he obviously struggled making weight for his last fight. In terms of Devin Haney has to go back to the drawing board. This defeat would have took a lot out of him, and I don't mean in terms of shame or anything like that. In terms of punishment, you know what I mean. He hadn't been down prior to that, and he got hurt. He got clipped a few times, so he has to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, how can I prevent this from happening again? One thing is that he needs to try and somehow develop power. Now, if you're struggling to develop power because of the weight, he might have to go up. And he might have to go up, obviously, to put more weight on. And maybe, as he's throwing his punches, maybe sit down on his punches a little bit more. But obviously, him and his coach would know, obviously, what to do. But yeah, it's up to him. He can maybe stay in that division, maybe look to try and fight someone like a Pitbull Cruz, which is a dangerous fight. If you haven't got power, that's a dangerous fight. But obviously, him and his team would know what to do going next. But yeah, it's not the end of the road for Devin Haney. Still plenty of fights out there for him. Just needs to go back to the drawing board and work on one or two things. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What should both of these guys do next in terms of their career? And if it turns out that Ryan Garcia's samples both come back negative, would you be happy with that? And would you like to see him continue his career, or would you kind of still think that he's a cheat? Let me know your thoughts, and as always, guys, please subscribe and comment. Bless.